píntalo mucho. Paint today as much as you can.
Okay, now look, this is starting to look interesting. Now I'll be a bit more careful here. Look how slow I go. There's a lot of paint with light, so I need to be very gentle, very careful. Small brush strokes. The blending will happen, yes or yes, but with more detail here. Clean the brush. Now there's a heavy, thick brush stroke here. I'll get rid of it like this. Done. Clean the brush. Now I can continue.
So you're working on bringing the darks more into the light versus the lights out?
Both ways, depending on what I need. The basic concept to that interesting question is, where did you make the mistake? Did you put too much light or did you put too much dark? Okay, I put too much light. I need to make a wider area with dark. Then you start your brush strokes where the dark is. You borrow some paint from there and you go over the light. And you reduce the amount of light because you're borrowing paint from the dark into the light. The light was so small and I need to make the light wider, then you do it opposite. You start your brush stroke where the light is, hopefully you have enough amount of paint, and you borrow some paint from the light and you extend the light towards the dark. What side do you want to invade with what type of color? So that's the decisions that you make. I want to make the light wider, then I start pushing the light like outside. I want to make the light smaller, then I grab color from the shadow and I invade the area of the light. Did I say it right?
Yes.
For example, here, I want more light, so I'm touching the little dot of light that was here and trying to make it wider against the shadow, recovering light. See? Same here. I want to make this light wider, so I borrow some light and I go over the shadow to recover some light. After that, I want to blend the color, so make a bit more loose brush stroke. There. Blending is really, really important. Changes everything. An interesting concept that I think I didn't mention yesterday. Guys, you want to paint realism or you want to paint two-dimensional cartoons? That's a question. Okay, then you need to worry about getting out of focus all your contrast lines. If you can do that, if you can blur out everything, when the eye looks at that painting, it will associate that painting with reality. If everything is outlined and contrasted and very light and very dark, and you don't have a wide spectrum of midtones that you can barely see the subtle changes of the color, then you're on the cartoon side. If you can blur out everything and you have a great control with midtones and you don't push colors very dark or very light, then you're on the side of realism. It doesn't matter if you're a perfect painter with all the details and the hairs, and that doesn't matter. If your color is right and you manage to blur out things, it will look real. Okay, so try to keep that always in mind. Okay, the teacher told me that I need to blur out everything. You want to blur it out? Do it when the paint is fresh. The paint is drying, the paint is sticky, you'll have a hard time. So you need to apply thick layers of paint so that everything is wet and you work like on butter, right? Like an oily surface. Here is complicated, too much detail, too much combination of colors, so I need to take it slow. I'm barely touching the paint. There's a lot of paint here, so that allows me to work very wet. If it's wet, the colors will integrate more smoothly, softly, gently. Okay, that's enough. Okay, look at this.